Hi, everybody. My name is Grendel Lofquist. I'm the director of Type West here at Letterform Archive. And yes, we are the only type school in the world with our own theme song. We are thrilled to see so much interest in Type West 2026. So please say where you're coming from in the chat. And if you want, let us know if you have a favorite font. And please put your questions in the Q&A, as we'll have time to answer them when we're done with the presentation. So I want to take just a few moments to introduce our program, or should I say two programs. If anyone here is not familiar with the history of Type West, we launched 9 years ago as a partnership with New York City's Cooper Union. And we took over the program ourselves and have continued with the same model of excellence that Cooper initiated. Our postgraduate certificate in type design is a year-long program whose strengths are its faculty and the resources of Letterform Archive, and that is what makes us unique. Each of our 3 10-week terms includes weekly classes in type design and type history. Plus, we have 2 weekend or weeknight workshops per term. So we'll have an online cohort, which gives you the advantage that you don't need to travel to join our program. And we can accept students from anywhere around the world, even though some of you might need to wake up at the witching hour in order to participate. And we'll also have an in-person cohort. So if that's what you're interested in, we're hosting an in-person open house on October 2nd at Letterform Archive at 6 p.m. We'll have snacks, we'll have beverages, and freebies. So please sign up to attend that event if an in-person program is an option for you, because today we're going to be focusing on the online program. So the application period for both programs is open starting October 1st and runs until midnight California time on Monday, November 2nd, which is also known as the Day of the Dead. Our DMs are always open, so in case you have questions about your application at any point, please message us. So today we have a crew of former and current students joining us in addition to the instructors, and they're all here to answer your burning questions about the program from a student's point of view. So first up, we're going to hear from our education director, Angela Reichers, and Angela will let us know about the application process and the scholarships we offer. So Angela, are you in the house? You are on.
I am in the house. Hello, everybody. I'm Angela Reichers. I'm the education director. Thank you, Grendel, for that nice introduction. So for those of you who are interested in joining our online cohort for Type West, there is a very simple application process. You could find it on our website. And the deadline for completing that and getting it into us is November 2nd. So you've got some time to really get it together. And people often ask, like, what are you looking for? And what we're looking for is pretty much a graphic design portfolio with some emphasis on typography. Like perhaps you've tried to design a typeface, or perhaps you've adapted a typeface. Like it's not an absolute must, but it is something that will help distinguish you from all of the wonderful applications we get. And I'm sure that the students will give you a really good idea of what the program is like, and you know, how it's really changed their lives, because it does. So I will just say that we do offer a DEI scholarship for anyone who qualifies. You can find the link to that right on the application. It's sort of a separate piece, and we award 1 seat for each cohort. So one person in the online cohort will receive a full scholarship, and one person in the in-person cohort will get a full scholarship. Going forward, we hope to find some sponsors so we can offer even more scholarships, but right now, that's what we've got. So somebody gets to come to a full year of Type West for free. So I'll be here throughout the whole presentation, and I will stay through the end if there's any questions for me. But I think that's all I've got at the moment. So thank you.
Rob, hit it.
Not muted, yes. So, welcome everyone. I'm Rob Saunders, the founder and currently executive director and curator of Letterform Archive. Um, I think the main thing that I want to emphasize is how crucial type design and type design education have been to us from the beginning. We opened 10 years ago, and this type program is almost that old. It started as Grendel mentioned, as a joint venture with Cooper Union, but it's now our own thing, and it's kind of based on their for working professionals pedagogical structure. But we've enhanced it quite a lot because of the special resources that the archive has. And in particular, the online program is especially robust and has been producing amazing graduates and amazing work. And so I hope you'll consider joining us. I do 3 show and tells, one each term, uh, for the online classes. And those are a combination of type history, things that are in the mix in the syllabus at that time, in that term, and also requests like anything you want to see, basically. And I have so much fun doing that, and I really look forward to doing it with you guys when you join the program. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Stoof?
Hi, I am Stephen Coles. I'm the Associate Curator, Editorial Director at Letterform Archive. And before I met Rob, before the archive even began, my whole life was type. I worked for a company called Font Shop that doesn't exist anymore, but I worked for a variety of different foundries, helping them with their marketing and their type specimens. And I also started a website called Typographica, and I co-founded a site called Fonts in Use. And so I've always been in the font world. It's always been a big part of my life. And it's just such a joy to be at Letterform Archive and to support students in this program with this incredible collection we have. And often people think, oh, does that mean the folks online don't really have access to this incredible collection? But as Rob said, there are multiple occasions throughout the year where you will have customized tours of the collection through Rob. And there you have access to me and our wonderful collections team. So our Slack is always full of requests and questions about how Letterform Archives collection can help your education. And one of the things that I just love to do is to help you find what you need in terms of inspiration, in terms of how type history is relevant to what you're creating today. Because that's one thing I've learned through my research and writing is that there are always ways that the past is present in what we're doing now. And so I love nothing more than to just serve the students and help them find things in the collection and be a resource for folks. And I think that is one of the things that makes Type West special is that we have this incredible collection that can support what you're doing, what you're learning, and keep you inspired. So I'm really looking forward to next year. We always have incredible applications and people in the program. In fact, I'm here in the reading room right now, and one of our early graduates just walked in, just coming back in town from Southern California and visiting the archive, and it's been always great to catch up with folks who've been in the program. They're doing amazing things, and we'll be publishing some articles about that on the website soon. But really excited about next year and looking forward to helping students to understand how history can inform what they're working on in the program.
Fantastic. Sahar, you're up.
Okay. Hi everyone. I apologize for the camera angle. I've been told that this is annoying by so many people, so I'll just face the camera for the purpose of this. So my name is Sahar. I am the lead instructor for the online program at Type West. I've been designing type for over a decade now, and that's part of what I do. The other part of what I do is research. So I have a PhD in printing history. And just piggybacking off what Stephen just said, I also really deeply appreciate research-based practice. So that is what I also really love about Type West, that we have access to this amazing archive and people like Stephen and Rob, who are so generous with sharing all the amazing material that's there. And yeah, throughout this whole year, I'm going to be with the students from the day they start to the day they graduate. We'll have wonderful semester instructors joining us, but I'm the one who's going to be there as a constant throughout this whole journey, sort of assessing where you're starting, how you're progressing, and helping you in any way that I possibly can. Is that too short? I could go on, but.
You want to talk about just what you do in each term?
Absolutely. So in the first semester, we have the lovely Michele joining us, who's going to talk in this right after me. So I'm not going to go into him, but Michele is going to be teaching revivals. So on the first semester, we focus on finding a historical model, and this is where the archive comes in really handy. And after that, once we have gotten past sort of the revivals where we also focus on, just starting to use software, constructing outlines, getting into all those like details that you just start to really realize just how much there is to learn about type, right? But once you have, your feet wet and you've started to explore revivals, then in the next semester, with more confidence in drawing outlines, we start working on original typefaces. That's where Ro joins us, Romina Hernandez. And there in that semester, you will really focus on creating something that's original and unique. And this is where we really try to encourage you to look into your passions and what you're interested in doing outside of type, because I think it's really interesting when people bring their story and their background into whatever it is that they're designing. And we also start to explore expanding into different weights and other styles. And then in term 3, we have the amazing Fer, who's also here, I think. Fer then helps you with expanding the typeface into a family. So that's sort of this can be either the revival you start in semester 1 or the original design you start in semester 2. Either way, it's about how you take a core typeface idea and then create a typeface family out of that. So that's sort of the journey, and I think that's amazing because I don't know that there are many other programs where students graduate with at least 4 fonts to show already in their portfolio. But so I think that's really great.
Thank you, Sahar. Next is Michele.
Here we are. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yep.
Can you? Okay. Hi, everyone. So I will work with those joining the program during the first term, as Sarah said. We will work on a digital revival of a text type, meaning a type that is suitable for long text reading. Think about books, newspapers, magazines, anything you might find in libraries, archives, digital or not, like the letterform archive. Your personal collection of specimens, if you have one, or just any kind of a old book that somehow has a meaning for you, like something you find in the attic or at the flea market, anything you're passionate about. Why a type revival? We believe that working on a type revival can help us learn designing type. It defines a clear and relatively close boundaries that can be handled no matter what is your level of experience. It sets a sort of a guide rail, let's say, and allows us to really dive into the construction of letter shapes and most importantly of what they express. At the same time, designing a type revival is it's a very strong tool of research that can really help us to better appreciate the history of type, the idea of a genre, and even sometimes revisit our understanding of what we define as classics. So how we will proceed during the 10 weeks long term? We will ask you to choose a historical model you're passionate about, that's important, and then to analyze it. The analysis is essential to capture and understand not only the visual features of the type we're looking at, but also its personality. And this is very critical step because in the digital development that follows this phase will be an interpretation of the model you choose. It's inevitable. We're going to make something different from what you took as the original. And the challenge here is to bring out that personality in the digital dimension. So understanding the relationship between the digital shapes and the expressions, that's something that will carry on with you in your future work, no matter what is, if it is based on historical models or not. So we'll use the type revival project as a sort of a playground to investigate the mechanics of type, refine our observational skills, and lay the groundwork for the rest of the program. That's pretty much a condensed version of what we're going to do.
Fantastic, Michele. Fer?
Hi, everyone. I'm Fer. I'm a type designer from Argentina. I'll be the co-instructor in term 3 with Sahar. And I didn't prepare that much explanation about term 3. I will surprise you when the time comes. But I think that this term is about testing what you already know from the previous terms and push it further. I think in the term that I'm in, I will try to be by your side, exploring the idea, the concepts of what you want to do, and try to get the things done without focusing only on the technical part. I think it's the space to have connecting concept and execution, using the typeface, using the ideas, the concept, try to build something from the tools that you get from term 1 and term 2. And the main focus is exploring what to say and how to say it through the typeface that you're choosing to work with. I will try to push the idea that you have in mind, and I will be there by your side, trying to not make you fall in crisis every week. But it's a place to show the world how you see the world and what you want to do about type. So it's a really space on how type design can become a reflection of that kind of thoughts and ideas. And that's the fun part for me, that we are going to talk about the shapes, of course, and spacing and everything. But the conversation gets more deep and more complex just by asking what you want to do. That's something that you need to be able to say. So that's, for me, at least what I like about term 3.
Okay, gracias, Fer. I'm going to introduce myself again. Hi, I'm Grendel, and I'm going to be teaching the last of your 3 type history terms. So type history supports the type designs that you're working on in each term of Type West. The first term of type history is taught by renowned writer, historian, and calligrapher Ewan Clayton. Ewan will walk you through the history of the Latin script. And Ewan couldn't be here today. It's past his bedtime, but he sent us a video and we'll post that on our website. So look out for that. The second term is taught by filmmaker, writer, historian, editor, and Professor Briar Levitt. Briar will focus on the tools and materials that are used historically in type design, and will look at the impact they had on the look of the letter forms. And for the third term, I am the teacher, and I will invite a series of experts to speak in a series that we're calling Decentering the Latin Letter. And we will be looking at a variety of writing systems worldwide, since we'll have a global cohort of students. So speaking of, now it is time for the students and grads to share their experiences with the program. The first up is Leopoldo Leal. Leopoldo, are you in the house?
Hello, everybody. Well, it's a great pleasure to be here and talk a little bit about my experience. I'm Leopoldo. I'm a graphic designer, type designer, and educator from Brazil. São Paulo is my city. And I believe TypeWest changed my life because 2022 I started, and well, after the pandemic, the world was crazy, and I decided to enter in TypeWest. And well, everything changed a lot after that. I will share my screen. I will show a little bit. Just a minute. So here. Can you see my screen?
No, not yet, Leopoldo.
Oh my God. Just 1 second. Maybe yes. Now, 1 second. Now you can see?
Looking good, Leopoldo.
Okay. Well, I remember that's my space, because when you think about the online program, I say, that's quite easy. It's not easy. There are a lot of work, and that's my space during the TypeWest. Well, we worked a lot. It was amazing because the people around the world, we talk a lot and draw a lot. It's quite hard, guys. There are a lot of things to do. And when I finish the TypeWest, I feel very confident, and I start my own type foundry, specialized in custom typeface, because I'm a graphic designer. I work with branding, and I say, well, maybe I can work with my friends, the graphic designers, and sometimes the graphic designers talk with the type designers only when the job is finished. And I start to work during the project. And that was really interesting, because my first job was Casa Balduco. Balduco is a Brazilian brand for Italian immigrants. And I made the typeface for them. It was incredible, because I feel very confident. Well, I can do. And after that, another brand is a Mate Leão, is a tea from Brazil. That's just one weight. Is quite interesting, because they said, the curves from Brazil. And well, I talk with the client, with during the project. But the last month, I finished this work. Guaraná Antártica. Guaraná Antártica is a big brand in Brazil. It's a soft drink. Guaraná is a fruit from Brazil. And I will show a video case. Well, that's the 3 typefaces, and including a color variable font. And that's the video. then recently, that's the fruit, the guarana fruit, and that's why the eyes, the fruit with eyes. The guarana variable font, color variable font, and that's opportunity to combine. And well, I like to show that because when I finished the TypeWest, I had the opportunity to be a TA with the Maurice workshop during the workshop, the open workshop, and I learned how to work with Drawbot. TypeWest is still helping me in these situations, and that's why when I finished this workshop, I put this knowledge in this work. And that's it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Wow, thank you, Leopoldo. That was amazing. Oh my God, those eyeballs. Next up we have Arlen. Arlen, please share and join.
Hi everyone. That was amazing, by the way. So I wanted to talk a little bit first about what it's like in the program, just a little bit about that. Your teachers will be amazing, and each and every one of them have something different for you to take away. So learn as much as you can, and appreciate them because the semester goes by so fast, and by the end you'll be crying. Second of all, the classmates and TAs are also amazing. Observe what they do and how they approach their projects. There's so much that you could learn just by osmosis, seeing their process too. And the TAs are very kind and helpful. Ask them, bother them. It's their job to help you. And then I just wanted to share a little bit of my semester 2 project. Yeah, hope everyone can see this. Okay, for my display font, I worked on an idea called Curious. It is a typewriter like slab serif. I'm just reading, but yeah, it's a slab serif that reflects this like curious mindset that I like to have. So like little bits turning their heads, you know. So if I were to have a typewriter font for myself, that kind of would also fit in a Wes Anderson movie or reflect the curiosity of Amelie, that would be it. And this is what the character set looks like. And I even, over the break, I worked on some extra symbols to make old school emoticons. Anyway, the anatomy of it is this, where I have some wayward strokes that happen as contextual alternates at the ends and beginnings of words. It's slightly reverse contrast. It doesn't know if it's a script or slab serif or not, because yeah, it's curious and yeah, open. Here's a little bit of the family together. I worked on 7 weights and an italic. It's really rough so far, but it's fun. I especially enjoyed the italics workshops because I'm kind of a scripty person. You'll see what you gravitate to in your process. Here's a little bit of the early sketches, process, testing the font to see if it could work in different ways, and how it evolved from beginning to end. And that's it. Thank you.
That is so cool. Thank you, Arlen. Arlen's a current student, and that's only after the second term, everybody. So, whoa, let's keep an eye on Arlen. Next term, we got Chris Wilmore, graduate and current TA.
Oh, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, cool. Let's see. So I am Chris Wilmore. I was a student in TypeWest 2024 in the in-person cohort here in San Francisco. I actually, unlike most of the students, my background is in software engineering. I worked at Apple for a long time in their UI-based software, and I decided that I wanted to make a little change. So I went and took their type design class. And after I fell in love with a course that I took in 2022. I also did a little silly challenge called Fontober. You can go check it out on my Instagram if you want. But the idea is that I did some type design every day during the month of October and posted it on Instagram. So you can. I'm going to be doing it again this year, so you can follow me if you want to see it. Anyway, I was part of Type West 2024. And I wanted to show some of the projects that I worked on there. This was the revival that we did during term one. This is a revival of a font by Frederick Gowdy called Kennerly Old Style. And I found it from a book here in San Francisco about the Panama Pacific International Fair. But it was an interesting way to digitize a part of the city's history. Then my term 2 and 3 original design I called Chuff, which was the sort of high X height sans face that was meant for use on the screen, but also works pretty well in print. You can see here I have a Wikipedia page set in Chuff. I had a lot of fun with it. And because Masha, our design instructor, had background in Russian and I had some as well, I decided to expand it to the Cyrillic script as well. So we have like a full Italic and Roman Cyrillic. And as a sneak peek, I've actually kept working on type design after I finished the course last year. So this is a typeface that I'm working on right now. It's currently called Fretless. I'm working on it to also be a sort of screen font, but more of a serif, semi-serif kind of thing. So why should you join Type West? I evangelized it to everyone I talked to because, like, where else are you going to be in a room full of people who are all nerds about fonts? Like, we all love fonts. We all love talking about like serifs and sans and like why we love Comic Sans or hate Comic Sans or whatever. And it's just good to be in a community with those sorts of people. The in-person program in particular, I enjoyed quite a bit because we had a lot of experience with the physical aspect of design. Like I personally didn't really have a lot of experience with like drawing on paper. I did a lot of vector work, but working with tools like ink and brushes and even stone was really eye-opening for me and informed my design of the letter forms. We talk about all different steps in the type design process, including the ones that I didn't really think about. Like once you make your font, how do you make sure that it works the same on everyone's computer? How do you make sure that people know that your font is out there? How do you make a compelling specimen for your font? Even though that's not really designing the font itself, it is part of the message that you want to put out there. And finally, I want to say that the teachers and TAs were really great in my program. Like, Masha was an excellent design instructor, and all the co-instructors during my time at Type West all brought something different to the table as far as their experience and their artistic taste. So, yeah, that was about it for me. I'm going to stop my share.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Chris. So
Oh,
everybody,
also,
Chris,
this is my the stone that I carved, so you can see.
woo!
It's quite heavy.
We won't ask you to keep holding it up. Folks, in case you didn't pick up on that, Chris is representing the in-person program. So if you have questions about that, we can ask him directly in the Q&A. Next up, we have April, graduate and TA.
Unmute. Can you guys hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm April. My background is in graphic design and primarily in hand lettering. My interest in lettering eventually led me to go deeper and to learn more about type design. I was a part of the whoa. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yeah, we're seeing two slides at once.
My screen went black.
Uh-oh.
Accessibility shortcuts.
Ooh. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, yep.
Maybe
And
we
now we
switch
see
out.
one screen.
But I can't see my screen. So maybe we move on to the next person if I can.
Yeah, that's okay. Why don't we move on to
Sorry about that.
Amy, and then we'll come back to you when you've figured it out.
Sure.
Amy,
Right.
you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. My name is Amy Copeland. I'm in the online cohort 2025, so we're just about to start our third term. So I'm with Arlen, and Flora, I think, is here too. I'm a graphic designer, but I am also an educator. So always have been in love with type. I actually took the 10-week Intro to Modern Type Design with Cal Troughton. And once I finished that and made my first typeface, I thought I need to do the whole thing. I just needed to do the year and get their certificate. So I'm going to share my screen. Um, can you guys see my screen? Oh, wait, not yet. Here it is. All right. Can you see Edna?
Yes.
So in the first term, creating the revival was really great practice and just learning glyphs again and figuring that all out. So with our second typeface, I came up with a typeface called Edna, and it just ended up being this really delicate, condensed typeface. And we have chickens, and Edna is no longer with us, but it just reminded me with Sahar named, said my little pillowy serifs, and I couldn't forget that idea of the pillowy serifs, and you can see Edna right there in the picture is very pillowy. So just kind of came to be that Edna was the name, and just really starting the process with what were our inspirations and hand drawing a lot of different typefaces, and ended up going with this, you see that word relent kind of came into play. And it was really awesome with the teachers in our cohort and the TAs, just really figuring out and helping each other that, even though we're all kind of, online and separate, it did working with Slack and having access really to everybody at all times. I threw in some questions at 11 o'clock at night and got answers and responses and feedback. So it just has been an awesome experience. And, I feel like we're gaining lifelong friends in a way. Hopefully we'll all keep in touch, after we get through term 3, but just really, focusing on the letter forms, the curves, the different shapes, the serifs, all these little details that I don't think I really thought about when I'm just using typefaces and picking typefaces. And now I look at things so much more critically. So this ended up being the base style. And then I did end up working on italics just to get started to prepare for term 3. And then the extra bolds, which, I have work in progress here because they definitely need some work, which I'm looking forward to working with Fair and Sahar again. And just seeing the typeface in context, seeing how it could work and how I could potentially use this in my own designs. And then, creating artifacts from the typefaces. And these are photographs that I also took on film. So it's just, the workshops also are amazing. I mean, I love the idea that we, start using brushes again and parallel pens, and it's not all just computer. So having that opportunity to step away from the computer and actually get your hands dirty is huge. So Jen Ramirez, Cyrus Highsmith, Anna with the italics, and Katie learning just great. It's just been such an amazing experience. So that's my spiel.
Thank you so much, Amy. April, you're back. You vanquished the black screen of death.
I did. I think I might have turned on accessibility or something. So I'm sorry about that. Let's rewind. Okay. Hi, I'm April Mrava. I talked a little bit about how I have a background in graphic design, but primarily hand lettering. And so my interest in hand lettering eventually led me to want to dive deeper into typography and learn about type design. I was a part of the 2024 online Type West online cohort as a student, and here's our picture of our type specimen that we just got relatively recently, and super excited about it. The online program appealed to me because in 2024, when I joined the program, my daughter was only 6 months old. So I did not have the willingness or accessibility to jump into a in-person type design program or move to another city or another country. So being online was super appealing to me. It just wasn't realistic to kind of pick up and go to the Netherlands. In 2025, I'm honored to return as a part of the online cohort as a TA. Being a teaching assistant this year has deepened my type knowledge tremendously, and I get to be a part of this amazing community, and I absolutely love this year's cohort. Jumping off what Amy was saying is that, you get some long lifetime friends out of this, and we still talk from the 2024 cohort, We just had like a little reunion the other day just to kind of catch up and see what we're working on. And this cohort is amazing. They are constantly talking to each other, getting feedback from each other, and they have their own Wednesday draw along, which is awesome. So yeah, I think being a part of the online cohort, you get all of these different kinds of perspectives from people all around the world, and you guys get to nerd out and work on stuff, and you're all kind of, different levels of experience. So some people are just starting out, some people have a little bit more experience in terms of type design. So we're able to kind of ask questions among each other, and not just the teaching assistants, and instructors, but people who are kind of going along with it with you. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my typeface that I worked on in the 2024 program. Mayari is the typeface that I worked on for term 2 and term 3. So the original inspiration came from my favorite video games and tabletop RPGs. If my dream video game was a magical girl-led adventure, open world, farm simulator, what would that look like? What would the types look like in this world? What I landed on was a fun, squishy black letter inspired family with a lot of personality. It follows the ductus and logic of textura calligraphy or Gothic bookhand, but like if someone made it into a plushie. The family is approachable, friendly, cute, a little attitudey, and with a touch of sparkle. Mayari has 3 styles. Mayari Standard. We have soft terminals to create a really soft mochi texture. That's a little bit in contrast to what you would normally see in terms of a rigid, sometimes harsh lines you might see in a black letter. Squish is our heavier weight. I like to think of it as like an inflated version of the standard with a little bit of ornamentation. And my favorite part of it is the little star tittle. And Mayari Squish is our italic, thrown in there to kind of shake things up, add a little bit of contrast. And I have plans to create more weights and more styles, but those are the 3 that I worked on during my Type West program. And if that video game were to ever exist, I like to think that it would look a little something like this. And that's it. That's me.
Thank you so much, April. I just love the idea of a fun, squishy black letter made into a plushie. Last but not least, we have Flora de Carvalho. Flora, are you here? Yeah. And side note, Flora has just won a very prestigious scholarship. We're thrilled that to announce that. Anyways, I'll shut up and let Flora talk.
Hi everyone. It's nice to meet you and also meet my friends and teachers here. Hello to everyone and TAs. Yeah, my name is Flora. I'm from Brazil. I live in São Paulo, just like Leopoldo. And I brought some images of the 2 projects I developed during Type West. I think when I came to Type West, I was really focused on trying to make a move in my career and to become a full-time type designer, and things are starting to happen in that direction, like the Mali scholarship that Grendel just mentioned. Thank you, Grendel. So yeah, I'll just show my projects and hope you like it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask later. So the first project I did, that was a revival that Michele was talking about. It's called Garmin, and it's a revival of William Morris's Golden Type. It was a great process because we had access to the online archive, and then we could ask for some high resolution specimens, and they're actually really, really huge resolutions, so we could analyze the letters and have references for our work. So this is the book I used as a source. It's John Ruskin's Nature of Gothic that they have in the archive. And this is how my typeface looks like. It's mostly the same page with my interpretation of this very important type design made by William Morris in the late 1900s. Yeah, one thing that I think is very cool about TypeWest is that we are very focused on the process. So the teachers and TAs always encourage us to keep track of what we've done so far. And at the end of each term, we have to deliver a process book. So it's always nice when you're doing the typefaces, you keep reflecting on your choices and what's going on, so you can make a full report by the end of the term. And this is the final character site of the Revival project. I think it's nice to see it because you learn a lot about drawing diacritics and symbols and like the full family, which is great because sometimes at least for me, I sometimes was stuck drawing the letters and I couldn't move on. So the TypeWest program has been great to help me like get this rhythm of drawing the full character set. And this is the project I started on term 2, and I plan to continue on term 3. It's called Ursula. It's inspired by letters from the photo composition era and science fiction book covers from this period. That's mostly from the 60s to the 80s. This is how I'm planning my family. So the second term of TypeWest, I worked on the weight range that you see on the left. And now on term 3, I plan to work on the italics. I have a little bit of an introduction of how it's going to look like, but yeah, no one knows what's going to happen. I'm really excited about being first students. So this is like the letters, how they look like in all the 3 masters I'm working on. This is a very nice quote by Ursula Le Guin. I've been focusing on her work as a main source of inspiration. And here I did some book covers of science fiction books that I really liked that were written by women. And I set them with Ursula. And here's the full character set again so far. So it will probably increase over the next few weeks. We are just about to start term 3. So that's it. If you have any questions, my Instagram handle is familiarfaces.xyz, so you can feel free to send me a DM.
Thank you so much. Amazing work. As Sahar mentioned, this is just one semester, folks. So that was, and we're now open for Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can just unmute and ask away and we'll get one of our students or teachers to answer. And if you're feeling shy, you can just drop the question in the Q&A or put it in the chat and I'll read it. Do we have any questions? I see one question in the Q&A from Cheryl. Cheryl asks, do they have disability resources in TypeWest? Because I am hard of hearing, I rely on closed captions and lecture notes, but I enjoy challenges. Well, can anyone speak to how they might handle that in the classroom? Sahar? I mean, personally, my slides always have captions, but we don't have closed captions as far as I am aware of in terms of our lectures. But they're all recorded, so there's a possibility, I guess, of running those through some kind of closed caption software, and you can watch them afterwards.
Sorry,
Any other?
I was just asking Randall in the chat if this is for in person or online before jumping in. So we absolutely please like apply. When we know that someone has a specific need, we will make every effort to meet those needs. We have our online classes on Zoom. So Zoom has a closed caption sort of little button that I think it's not too bad. It distracts me, so I don't have it on, so I don't quite know how effective it is. But if that doesn't work, we can try and figure out something else. as Grendel mentioned, all the classes are recorded. So you can always run that through software. And for the most part, I feel like a lot of times during class when we're doing the lectures, most students tend to be on mute and there's some stuff happening in the chat. So there's always the participation in the chat as well. But absolutely, we can figure it out together. Please, by all means, don't let that be something that you feel like puts you off to applying. Absolutely not.
Thank you for that thorough explanation, Sahar. We have a question from Anonymous. Maybe one of the students can answer this. What's the time commitment? How much time is spent each week to be successful in the program? And are there assignments every week?
Who wants to take this? I guess I can I guess I can answer. I teach full time. I am a practicing artist. I've been working on some weaving projects, and I will say that it's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie and say that it isn't a lot of work, but it's not overwhelming. I mean, I don't think any of us have cried yet. I say yet, but so and I think the really nice part about it is that there is homework every week. But you get out of it what you put into it. And I think no matter what, even if you have a busy week and you can't get to everything, I think, all of the teachers have been very understanding about that and really work hard to get you caught up. But I think, it is definitely something that if you are working full time, it is manageable. And it's completely worth it, I think, in my opinion. So hopefully that answers the question.
That was very thorough. Anybody else have input on this? How have you managed to work-life balance here? Okay. Let's see. I see wait, what? Yeah.
It's 3 10-week terms. 30 the first term.
Whoever is speaking is really breaking up.
I think it's Rob. I think he may not be in good service right now.
Okay. Well, let's move on, and Rob can type something in the chat if he wants to comment on that. And next I see a hand up. Chris, one of my City College students. Hey, Chris, what's your question?
Glad to be here. I don't know if the echo's bad. Is it good or?
The echo is great. It's a little too good, but you can keep talking.
Okay. I'm gonna speak a little quieter. For Chris's presentation, he said the why, and there's a bit about doing like physical analog type of work. What's like, are we gonna go like super, super back where we're doing like letter pressing or any type of that stuff?
So I don't think we ever did letterpress, or we did a little bit of printing in Cyrus Highsmith's workshop, but it was really just, monoprints with acetate and stencils and that sort of thing. Like we never, I think most of our work went to like designing the letter forms as opposed to like actually creating the book. And in fact, here's the specimen that I had printed for my book, and I had it printed rather than printing it myself. Like some people will print it yourself, but yeah, we didn't really do letterpress stuff. The physical aspect extends more to like creating letters with physical tools, so like we worked a lot with parallel pens, and then like Cyrus Highsmith, we did cola pens, which was a lot of fun. Like you make a pen out of a Coke can and a chopstick. And we also did stone carving, and like I, up to that point had pretty much done all design work digitally. So like being in a space where I didn't have Command Z at my disposal, like made things a lot more interesting for me. Like, so I had a lot more experience doing physical design here than I did anywhere else.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great. And obviously the in-person cohort will be able to do more hands-on kinds of things like the stone cutting, the letter cutting. That's not really possible online, but things like Cyrus Highsmith's workshop and the calligraphy workshops that you do, everybody does those. So thank you, Chris, for that question. Folks, it's almost 1. We can keep going with the questions, but I did want to give you a heads up that this is, we are reaching time. So if you drop off, I won't cry, but I will keep going with the Q&A and hopefully we can still answer them. Willow asks, what programs do you suggest students are fluent in before starting the program? Sahar, Michele, any of the instructors, can you answer that?
Come as you are, we'll meet you where you are. Again, the reason as Michele said, one of the reasons why we start with revivals is that, we know there's a very steep learning curve with type design. We know that it can get very overwhelming. We don't assume that you come into the program knowing how to use type drawing software like Glyphs or FontLab or what have you. It's great if you play around with it a little bit beforehand, before the program starts, but we are there to teach you how to use these. So I would say if you can get your hands on the trial licenses and try them out, just so you get some beginner familiarity. There's tutorials on their websites. It's really good if you have some desktop publishing soft, like some level of comfort with something like InDesign, or if you don't like Adobe software, you can use whatever you have on your computer that works for you. Just so you can make, when we want to look at the fonts, when we want to print them out, making proofs, what we call proofs, that will be very helpful. And as some of the students mentioned while they were showing their work, you make process books, you want to be able to show the work, so that can be handy as well. But we have had varying levels of familiarity with all of these in the past, and people help each other in the class. We help you as your teachers. The TAs help you a lot. So again, don't let it be something that becomes something that puts you off to applying. No matter what your level of familiarity is, apply. And once you get into the program, we're all here to help.
Awesome. Thank
And
you,
like
Sahar.
before the beginning of the program, like at least last year, we sent to everybody who was applying like a list of links and the references that would be useful to kind of look through, and that kind of it kind of levels a bit like kind of the skill kind of level that is required. So that was quite useful.
Great. Thank you, Michele. Jared asks a great question. What percentage of program graduates end up working in type design professionally? And I can give a partial answer, and maybe anybody else, especially our graduates, can pipe up. It's hard to know the actual percentage who end up being full-time type designers. We have definitely graduated some people who did that. Most of our students are graphic designers who just want to add another very powerful tool to their toolbox of things that they can offer to their clients. So it amplifies your skill set, and it is extremely valuable to be able to say, we're redesigning your business suite, doing a website, and would you like a custom typeface with that? Yeah. Anyone have any extra comments on that?
Well, yeah, I would say that like having like a different background from type design, or even not only focusing on type design, is a plus instead of like So even if you really love type design and you want to make that your career, don't lose kind of that network, that kind of a broad perspective on the more kind of a general branding or graphic design and visual communication. Because I mean, I'm working a lot with people that are coming from that background and they kind of need support in type design. If you gain those skills in type design at as you were saying, Grendel, you have like like more tools like to work basically. So it's yeah, I think it's very valuable in that sense.
And I want to add one thing. I don't think that the only outcome from this kind of programs is to become a type designer. People go back and teach or get in research. I think you can apply because you love letters and then end up like choosing your own path. I don't believe that being in a type design program is the only thing is that you become a type designer. You can go back to be a graphic designer, but with an extra skill, or you can go back to teach or do research or do anything else. I think there's something that you are going to end up with more knowledge about it, but it's not that if you come here, you need to become a type designer. At least that's my point of view.
Awesome. Okay. Anonymous asks, how does the scholarship work for international students? I can answer. We have one full scholarship that we offer. It's for it's a BIPOC/equity scholarship, and whoever gets the scholarship does not have to pay to be in the program. That's how it works. And of course, with your either with the scholarship or with a paid admission to the program, you get everything included. So all the software that you need, whether it's Glyphs or RoboFont, you get both of those software programs for the year that you're enrolled. So I hope that explained it. We have one more question here, which is, how many people do we accept for the online program? And we already answered how many hours of work does it roughly require each week. That's how much you put into it, right? Does anyone have just a ballpark of the amount of hours that they might have put in on an average week? April, you look like you've got the answer.
It was almost during the week, maybe from my process was between 7 after my daughter went to sleep, 7 to 11 during the week. That was the time commitment that I gave, and plus, class time. So whatever the math is for that.
We're not math experts here. We're type designers. Come on.
Yeah, to add to that, I would agree with April. I did the program while working full time, and so I usually did all of the work like after work hours, so working late at night, and then also utilizing the weekends to just get as much done as possible, because you definitely don't want to fall behind.
Yeah, and we're looking to accept, I believe, 18 students for the online program. It's competitive. One thing I'm going to suggest for portfolios, we ask for 6 items for your portfolio, 6 pieces of work that you've done. And I think the best thing you can do is don't send us 6 websites, send us a variety of work. So if you've tried calligraphy and you don't think you're very good, whatever, send us what you've done. That's going to be more persuasive than, 6 great websites with someone else's typeface. If you've tried type design, even if you don't think it turned out very well, let's see that. If you've done some hand lettering or sign painting, wow, even better, right? So whatever you turn in, as long as we can see a smorgasbord of interest in lettering, letter forms, all things type and type adjacent, that's going to score a lot of points. Okay, did we answer everything? If we didn't, DM us. Yes.
One more. So, Amanda asked, what was the application process like? So I know there's the portfolio pieces, and then there's a letter of intent or a statement, right?
Yeah, and curriculum vitae, a CV. So, check out the application online. We're going to open the window on October 1st. So at that point, you can check it out and peruse everything that is required, but that's basically it. 6 portfolio pieces, and you can submit multiple images of those portfolio pieces, just 6 though, and then a letter of intent and curriculum vitae or resume, cover, whatever, CV. And that is it. And if you are applying for the one scholarship, then you'll just point that out in your application. There's a checkbox for that.
Can I just say very shortly, tick the checkbox if you're applying for the scholarship, but also add something in your letter of intent, because if, just it can be very short, just saying what the scholarship will do for you, why you want type, that sort of thing. It's just very helpful to highlight that.
Thank you for pointing that out, Sahar. Excellent. Okay, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. Once again, the application window opens October 1st, closes November 2nd, Day of the Dead. If you have any more questions, we are here for you. So don't hesitate to message us. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Thanks all instructors, current students, and former students and TAs. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing your applications in October. Have a great afternoon.